This is one of those series where for every person telling you to watch it, there's someone else saying not to. And if I'm being honest, I never had a good feeling about BoJack Horseman. But I also hate making assumptions without giving a series the proper chance. So, as always, I watched exactly 3 episodes for my initial reaction and then decided, would I watch BoJack Horseman? Let me start by saying I'm not typically a fan of sex vomit core shows, that kind of stuff you'd normally find on Adult Swim. I have nothing against it, it's just not my cup of tea. I've also heard that this show isn't meant to celebrate BoJack's mental state, but rather show what his brief fame has done to him. And immediately after throwing on episode 1, I realized that this is the type of show where you're not meant to agree with the protagonist's actions. And seeing as this show ran from 2014 to 2020, a solid 6 seasons, I can only assume that BoJack's growth, if any occurs, will be gradual and not at all linear. But I'm not here to theorize where the show may go. I'm here to talk about the first 3 episodes and the first 3 episodes alone. BoJack Horseman, the BoJack Horseman story chapter 1, BoJack hates the troops, and Prickly Muffin. Firstly, this intro song positively fucks. I usually dislike when a series opts for a lyricless fake intro song. Some of them are spicy, but ever since The Walking Dead aired, I've been getting tired of how many shows opt for this type of opening. Maybe it's because I'm biased towards animation, but I noticed that series like Gravity Falls managed to avoid lyrics and still create a signature feel through its music. With BoJack, I felt the same. The song was catchy but mellow, and the visuals were obviously a nod to how BoJack is aimlessly wandering through life without truly living it. It was a great way to tease the viewer about the show's focus, even if this focus is made extremely clear by the end of episode 1. So let's talk about the protagonist, Nay.
Because nay means no, but it's also a thing that horses say. It works on every level.
I don't like BoJack, but I don't think I'm meant to like him right now. The dude is obviously struggling, obviously hiding his pain, and I think as much as the show is trying to criticize BoJack, it's also criticizing society and Hollywood, which is a fucking hilarious takeaway from an episode about a horse dude trying to write an autobiography about his life as a sitcom star in the 80s and 90s. That being said, I was extremely uncomfortable with his relationship with Sarah Lynn. Again, I think that's what the viewer was meant to feel. And there were a few jokes littered in that were definitely telling of the time in which these episodes were written. Again, I can't stress enough how much I dislike shows that rely on sex and gore and gross stuff, but there were other jokes that I did find funny.
Even if it kills you, even if it empties you out until there's nothing left to empty. No matter what happens, no matter how much it hurts, you don't stop dancing, and you don't stop smiling, and you give those people what they want.
And action!
Why aren't you dressed for school, Prickly Muffin?
The fact the guy from Penguin Publishing was a penguin, I know, I have such highbrow humor. The dog saying chocolate will kill them, but being more as a nod to diet culture. The entire BoJack hates the troops plot, and the fact they employ cutscenes in a way that's quite refreshing. I also like when cutscenes go on slightly longer than they should, and it hits that point where it gets funny again. I wasn't rolling on the floor laughing, but so few shows nail their sense of humor in the first few episodes. We can't all be dairy girls. BoJack Horseman delivered the only type of humor that I need within the first 3 episodes. Promising humor. Jokes that may not be super hilarious, but demonstrate that the writers are testing the waters and will soon hit their stride. I feel the same way about the supporting characters. Right now, I'm not really attached to any of them, but I am curious about where they'll go. Mr. Peanut Butter seems shallow, but I've heard people say he's an interesting character. I loved Princess Carolyn's switch from X to Agent. Todd and Diane haven't done much for me yet, and while I hate this weird dynamic between BoJack and Sarah Lynn, I am so excited to hear Kristen Shaw's voice. As for the animation, it's pretty run-of-the-mill adult cartoon animation. I'm more bothered by the fact I had to continuously remind myself that these weren't Bitmochis that came to life. I never watch these types of shows for their animation though, and it gets the job done. Overall, I'm going to vote yes, I would watch it, and I probably will, which is something I didn't actually feel the need to follow through on with the other shows I've done this for. The thing is, I don't need to like any of the characters to still be invested in what happens next, and I am curious about what happens next. Even if the show ends up disappointing me, at least I can listen to this sweet intro song.